We're shining bright, and we're shining the light on us like no other. Neighborhood Planet. Our neighborhood, our world.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Smart Black Woman TV. Today we have a special guest on our show. Tony Roker is in to speak to all of us about some important issues about our health and our physical being. So, and we also have Charles. Charles, let us know a little bit about yourself. And also Tony, tell us a little bit more about you, Tony. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm new to the St. Louis area. From New York.
New York.
A lot of big changes.
Okay.
Yeah, New York City. So I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I'm a mom of twins, and a lot of new beginnings in life.
Awesome. Right. So how you liking St. Louis so far?
So far, so good. I mean, no complaints. It's, a lot of people here are very nice. Which is it's a lot slower pace.
St. Louis?
Well, I have a best friend of mine that moved here many years ago from New York, and we came here to visit, and we loved it.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. Wow.
You don't miss home?
That.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I get homesick, but I mean, I go back and forth to New York all the time. So, I don't have to be so homesick, but a lot is very different, but the slow pace,
because there's so much to do there in New York City. There's like nothing to do here in St. Louis.
What I like about here is that it's very family oriented, and I have 2 6-year-olds, so they keep us busy, so that's good. It's time for the slower pace, so we appreciate that.
I get that.
Yeah. Awesome. So Charles, how your week been going so far?
Hey, so far so good. I can't complain. I'm still waking up, breathing, still smiling. I can't complain.
That's right.
How about you?
My week's been pretty good, pretty busy this week. Look like we're ending the year, so I'm doing a lot of auditing. I'm actually a project accountant, Tony, and I work on very large projects down here. Projects, my $500 million projects. I got about 3 of them going right now. So I'm pretty busy. And today I was really running, so that's why I'm a bit late today on the show. Just bear with us. Sometimes you get them little glitches of running, and I've been doing that quite frequently. Trying to control it a little bit, but it's what it is. But it's going. We're at the end of the year. I'm very proud of accomplishments that I did make this year. I made a few changes in my life, and for the better. Even though the commute can be a bit far, I am doing very well with where I am, and I'm happy where I am. And that's the most important thing. When you're working for people, especially, you just want to be comfortable where you are.
Right. How long have you been in that field?
17 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, construction is my life. I love construction. I always push people into construction.
Mm.
A lot of people kind of fear away from it. Something I did when I first got involved in it, because you hear about layoffs, or they'll lay you off and things like that. But no, not really. Basically you just go to another project, from project to project, and you actually see how things are built, and what man can do, and what God has
Mm. Mm.
blessed them to be able to do.
Right.
So because it's getting more artistic, and
Right.
that's the fun of it, just to see a ground, and then all of a sudden 2 years later you see a full building and people walking in and out of it. It's just
Mhm.
amazing. It's
I have
so
I have
amazing.
a thing for real estate, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy. Like if you see a house being built in your neighborhood and watching it go from just wood planks to a massive house, it's incredible. Yeah,
It is. It
yeah.
is. I mean, and that's what made me keep going in it. My first project basically was on a mining aggregate plant, meaning that it was a mining area, and it's just aggregate dirt and things like that. But we build drag lines, and drag lines are the big machines that go underground.
Hmm.
They're huge, and I never knew how they were actually built. So they actually build them by hand, welding, men welding parts all together. At the end of it, it takes a year for them to build those big machines. At the end of it, you're able to walk inside of the machines. You see the machinery, and just the genius that has that mind to put all of that together. When they finished it, they said, "You're gonna see this thing walk." And I said, "Walk?" It's like a machine
Right.
walking. Literally, it was walking when
Hmm.
they finished it.
Hmm.
So, it's amazing, and that kept me going in construction. And that was many years ago, and I still enjoy it today. I tell a lot of people, construction is the way to go when you have families. Learn trades. Trades can keep your life going. Trades can keep your foundation in your home financially stable. And I tend to tell a lot of young men that, when they have kind of trouble thinking, or can't decide what they want to do, it's just good to just go into it. Just be a laborer. Just be a laborer, and you will see the changes in your life and how quickly that change can be made. Charles, no, because I brought him in.
Right.
I
I
Right.
brought him in
started
at
in
a young
Miami.
age, and he's good with his hand. He's good with the hands now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the jack of all
We're
trades.
forever evolving, right? So learning things all the time is you can't go wrong. You're giving yourself opportunities every time you learn something new.
That's
That's right.
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 Got to adapt to
Absolutely
your
right.
surrounding.
Absolutely. So our show is that basically we're going to talk and discuss physical health, and it's very important that we talk about physical health, because we tend to take life for granted in times. And when we going on in life and thinking everything is working out for us, we tend to work out, we tend to eat differently, and we feel as though we're so healthy when we make these changes. But yet there are some hidden things that go on inside of us that we have to
Mhm.
keep close to contact with. And that's our physical health, to make sure that we go to the doctors, get the checkups every year, so you can try to help to prevent some of those things that can be more drastic in your life. And
Right.
today we brought Tony in to talk about her journey of breast cancer, and how she has gone through it, and what her journey has been, and the positive, I guess it's a positive outlook on it, and not to be so fearful, and having someone to just hear from someone who has gone through those challenges. And Tony, just tell us a little bit more, and speak to us and let us know the things that we take for granted sometimes. We
Mhm.
just want to hear it from you. You have gone through an experience which was traumatic, but yet you were able to overturn it in your own way. So let us know about that.
Right. And I think it's really interesting, and just what you just said, because sometimes um, we think we're doing all the right things,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a big part that is not told to us often is that we have to be our own advocate for our own health. Actually, how my breast cancer was found was I wanted a breast reduction to help me with physical pain, also for my aesthetic preferences, I was carrying a lot, right? So I actually had a lump that I felt when I was about 32, 33 years old. And I went to my primary doctor. I did what I was supposed to. A lot of times this happens and it's not spoken about, you know. So I went to my primary doctor. They sent me for imaging. I went to mammogram and sonogram. They told me, you're fine. I was a young law enforcement officer. I went about my business, but the lump never went away. It was always painful to the touch, right? So fast forward, I was fortunate enough to get pregnant with my twins, who are 6 years old today. And I got to a point where I said, I'm blessed. I'm grateful for what I have, and I no longer want to have children, and I'm going to pursue the breast reduction, right?
Okay.
Again, went to my primary. They sent me for another set of mammogram sonograms. They told me I was fine. Right. So then you have to be persistent. You have to be your own advocate, right? So my third and final mammogram sonogram, right? They said, would you like to have this imaging done? I didn't really want to, but I knew I had to.
Yes.
3 days later, they called me and they told me, we think you have stage 2 cancer, right? We think that's the stage, but you have cancer. So it wound up actually being stage 3.
Wow.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about the stages? I know some people don't know when we do talk about what levels of the cancer. So tell us a little bit about that.
Stage 1 and 2, or actually they goes to stage 0. 0 to 2 is considered the earlier stages.
Okay.
All right. Stage 3 is considered much more advanced, progressed. Okay. Stage 4 is metastatic, right? So it spreads through your body, and you'll eventually succumb to it, right? So when I found out, I was actually stage 3, and everything moved very, very quickly from there. I was diagnosed November 2018, and by December 7th, I had a double mastectomy.
Wow! It's that fast.
That fast. And the following month, I began chemo. I did chemo, radiation, the double mastectomy, further surgery, and I was treated for cure. That's what they say anyway. But there's no cure for cancer, right? So had it not been for me being so persistent about having a breast reduction, it would have been way too late for me. And unfortunately, that happens a lot, with cancer patients, that they just get wind of their cancer way too late. So from there, cancer is, like you said, very traumatic. It strips you down to nothing.
Yes.
Right. And I was actually I was talking to my mother about getting a colon cleanse or a colonic, because I know that I'm getting up in age. I'm 30. I just turned 37 and approaching 40, and so things like prostate cancer, colon cancer, those things are important to look out for, at least get the prostate checked and the colon cleanse. And it's kind of like preparing for the future. I know that in ages, it's prevalent in ages 50 and up, really. But I figure if I prepare today for the future today, I'd be better off later on, and I won't be, and I'll be good, so. I know we can't stop it, like you said, but hey, at least you can try your best to prepare for it.
Right. Absolutely. And so it's just interesting that I went from wanting a breast reduction to help me with such minor things at that time, right? That seemed so major, right?
Yeah.
But really what was brewing inside of me all that time was a whole different beast, And it like I said, it strips you from everything, You know,
Yeah.
I was a caretaker to my mother. She passed 2 years ago. That was
Wow.
my best friend, my everything. That's
Yeah.
what I love about
Yeah.
you
So
guys.
sorry. So
Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I went from feeling like this very strong
Mhm.
provider, caretaker,
Mhm.
daughter, sister, partner to um, just needing help for everything.
Yeah.
Mm,
And that's humbling. It is
Mhm.
right.
very humbling.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. Big change.
right. So that, you know, that experience uh was definitely something that changed the way I view the world. Just
That was a
not even
journey.
right, right.
Yes.
When I tell you, I cried for other people that I
Mm,
know is going through it. You know,
Mhm.
I cried not just for myself, but to
Yes.
know that other people have gone through this, will go
Mhm.
through this, continue to go through it. You know,
right.
like it's a very powerful thing. You
It's a
know,
true battle. It's a true.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
I was looking up a few things about just having clarity in your in life and how it'll allow you to prioritize the things that are important in your life. You know, like you said, you were very persistent, and that you can only get that with clarity and just know and having a clear path ahead of you. You know, sometimes in life we can let things from work interfere, just in just life. You know,
right.
life happens. If you're still breathing, something's going on. You know, so
Yeah,
it's understandable. But when you can come back and just recenter yourself, I think it's always an amazing thing. You know, and you
right,
have a story to tell people. You know, and I
right.
look at it like that.
Right. And you know, I'm a former basketball player. I played from when I was 7 years old all the way through college. You know,
Really.
Mhm.
yeah. It was fun. It was fun. Um,
Awesome.
and one of my high school teammates, she passed from stage 4 breast cancer. She was
Oh.
diagnosed in her 20s.
Mm.
Wow.
Right. Right. So and you know, this is like you said, Charles. You know, this is something that people used to consider like an older person's disease. You
Hmm.
Yes.
know, but there's people really, really young going through it. And
Yes.
unfortunately, you know, she lost her battle.
Mhm.
And but one of the things that always stuck out to me were her Facebook posts.
Mhm.
And like every day she would post something, and it just offered a lot of perspective. You
Mhm.
know, you could tell she was able to see life differently than anyone else around her, you
Yes.
know, and you anyone reading it would be in complete awe.
Mm,
Mm.
And I never once thought like, how did she get there?
mm,
You
Right.
know, it was just something that you read and it was moving. Um, but then unfortunately we're human beings, right? And a lot of
Mhm.
things affect you or resonate with you most when it happens to you or someone you love, right? Like
Yeah.
on that deep level, you know, like familial like level, right?
Yeah.
yes.
And going through my experience, I shed tears for her and her family because I now understood the magnitude of what they all felt and what
Mhm.
they went through.
Mhm.
And so going through my cancer journey towards the tail end of it, I started asking, I became obsessed with this question. How does someone how does someone get that emotional and mental clarity without having to go through something so devastating?
Right.
Mm,
There has to be a way,
Yes.
mm,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And uh, what I can share from my experience is that um, I believe that trauma and suffering is something that we all share in common.
Mhm. Yes, we do.
Um, but it's those traumas and the sufferings that we go through
Mhm.
that allow us to wake up,
Yes,
mm,
it does.
you know, and
yes.
even though those experiences, um, no matter how big or small you might think that they are, my
Mhm.
trauma is no bigger than yours, and yours is no bigger
Right.
than mine, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
Right. But
Right.
there is always, I always say that there is so much beauty in pain.
Yeah.
Mm,
If you look for it, it's there. And
Yeah.
we have a choice whether we're going to allow those traumas and that suffering to last much longer than
Mhm.
they have to. You know, we can make changes if you know that thing inside of you that's like, all right, I know I need to do this or I need to do that, but you're
Right.
ignoring it. The universe, your creator, whatever you believe in, is going to keep resurfacing that until you deal with it.
Right.
That's just my belief and how I see life there, you know. And for me, you know, the first week I was diagnosed with cancer, I realized and I thought I knew why cancer happened to me. It was because I was refusing to make the necessary changes that I needed for myself. And that was my wake up call.
Right.
Yes. That's
you know?
right. Yeah,
And
God will come. He will show up
right.
in front of you.
Right.
Yes.
So I just think that if we can look at those traumas and the things that we're suffering from and make those changes, you can end it. You can end your suffering. You can make those changes, you know.
Right.
And some people don't get to wake up tomorrow to have those opportunities. You know, that's the real tragedy, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, I really have a love-hate relationship with cancer. You know, it's a very sad disease. It causes a lot of pain. At the same time, I'm so grateful for it, and I'm so grateful that it happened in my life and that I'm here right now.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right. That's
it
right.
makes you,
Amazing grace. How sweet the sound, huh?
right. So, you know, it comes with also with, I think, any trauma and any like change that you're making in life. I think that, you know, making those steps and surrendering
Yes.
is a difficult thing, you know?
Yes.
Right. But when you finally get it, it's like you a breath of fresh air and a weight lifted off your shoulders. You know, you feel like you can overcome anything. You know, and like you said, how can we get to that place without near death experiences? You know, and maybe it'll prevent a lot of pain and all that the stress that we talk about. So I think that's a good question. I wish we could communicate with people that are watching and just see what how they feel about the topic at hand.
Right. Or I would love to hear like just from
Insight.
you guys too, like if what has been something in your lives that really have woken you up, like it's time, like you need to make these changes.
That's right. That's right. We all go through challenges. You know, we all go through challenges in our lives, you know, whatever they may be, you know, internally we hold things in, but we fight battles. But yeah, and as I always said to my son Charles, you know, it depends on how you take it in. You know, some things, you know, will come into your life, but as far as attaching to it, it's like we grab it, you know, and you grab it and you carry it along with you. But it's like a baggage of it's just like a big bag of junk that you got there and you're just dragging it along. You know, you got to let it go. You got to let it go and look at life differently and say that I'm not going to carry that with me. I'm going to look on a positive. I'm going to look the positive in a positive direction, even though a person may come to you a certain way. They're not expecting you to respond in that way that they come to you. You know, some people come to you with anger, you know, and you go back, you know, and fight stone for stone. You're not gonna get anything out of it. Right. Your response is what's very important in your life. You know, when you are with any challenge that you may have. I've gone through gone through a few things in my life. And it's just the way I approached it. Yeah, we cry and we've been through heartbreaks, things like that. It's the way I approached it, you know. And just like my husband and I, we've been married 20 years. And in a 20-year marriage, you better believe there are some challenges.
Right.
There are some challenges and also choices that you make that you feel that when you're committed to someone, this is what I've committed to. And that's the choices that you make. And you move on with those choices and you believe that when you feel as though it's so traumatic to you to be hurt, when we get hurt, that's traumatic for us. In
Right.
relationships, even when you just bickering back and forth, it feels traumatic to our hearts. It's to me, when people carry grudges. I don't like grudges. What are you carrying a grudge for? We talked about it a few minutes ago. We've spat
Right.
about it. You have your way, I have mine. That's just the
Mhm.
way it is. And and,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
let's move forward. Because
Yeah.
right now we got to go get groceries. you
Right.
know and that's
Right.
how you have to live life. You
Right.
don't carry grudges with you, and you think positive about every outcome of life. And we do go through traumatic situations, but as you said, the journey was hard. When you go through anything in your life, the downfalls of life, the journey does feel very long. But as I always say, it's temporary.
Mhm.
It's your time to go through it. you know
Mhm.
it's just in the timing of what your walks of life are going to experience.
Right.
And it may be something more harder in front of you that you really don't know about,
Mhm.
but that if it comes, how I'm going to take it and how I'm going to address it.
That's
you
Right.
know
right.
so you're much stronger.
Right.
And I think a lot of traumatic situations makes us very stronger.
Right.
It humbles us too, because you never think certain things shouldn't happen to you, but it happens.
Mhm.
And it depends on how you approach things in life.
Right.
So I do appreciate, as I said to you before, thank you so much for coming on and telling your story. We take life for granted in many times, and I like to talk to a lot of people, engage in the conversations that we have, because we all have something that we may go through in life, but yet we're able to continue to move forward. And as much as you can come on
And,
again to the
and
show,
thrive.
to think positive, to
Right.
speak positivity into people and let them know you may go through something today. You
Right.
may feel that this is the end for you, but only one person makes that decision in your life. No one else can judge that.
Right.
So it's only you and God. And you have to continue to move forward and keep Him first.
Right.
And you can get through anything as long as you
Right.
carry Him along with you.
Right. And I think too that it's something worth mentioning. I think is it's okay to sit in how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay, but just don't get stuck there.
Yeah.
That's what builds the devastation later. And
Yes.
and we only here one time.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
know.
temporary.
Right.
It's temporary.
Right.
We just gotta let it go and
Right.
keep
Right.
going and
Right.
keep smiling. Crack a
Right.
joke
Right.
or two.
Right.
Crack a
Right.
joke or two. It
Right.
helps, right, Charles?
Yeah.
Right. I know. If anybody knows, I know. I've had plenty of days where I went through some crazy things in my life, and I felt like there was no ending to it. And but it was that moment when I decided to take control of whatever situation I was in,
Mhm.
and mainly taking control of my life and being in control of the outcome of my life. I don't want for any experience in my life to get the best of me. If I'm still breathing afterwards, I don't want that to make me or break me. It's just one detail that builds the character about myself. So I try to keep my head tight and keep everything going. And like we were talking about, that mental clarity and being healthy, eating healthy, exercising,
Mhm.
um, normal therapy, those things are so important to do because it helps you keep that prioritize the things that we have in our life. Like you said, you have twins, and my mom, you have you have me and my little brother, and you're married, you have to go to work, and then you come home, you got to do the show. It's a lot to juggle in life for a lot of
Right.
people.
Yes.
And so I understand. So it's important to keep your mind clear so you can have that clarity and a clear path in front of you. So
Yeah. And I think sometimes, well, for me, going through cancer, a way to climb out of that hole was doing things that I didn't normally do. you know,
Yeah.
things that were like therapeutic to me. You know, I started
Mhm.
coloring in adult coloring books, like anything that helped me, you know.
Good.
I began journaling. I began
Mm.
meditating. You know, those were things that it didn't
Yes.
take away what
Mhm.
I was going through, but it definitely was helpful. I think looking back now, right, that it
Right.
helped me climb out of it a little bit
Mhm.
easier. So those all those things are really important. And then, like you said, Charles, I think like how it helps you later on deal with the next obstacles that come. You know,
Mhm.
Right.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's all a practice, you know. Like in the beginning, I won't lie, I need to go here, I need to fly there, I need a mental break, I need to be
Yeah.
somewhere that's not at home where I'm going through chemo, going through radiation, all those things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was just going back home to it,
Yeah.
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
So what else can I do, you know?
Mhm.
And then
Right.
I realized meditation was such a great thing because it
Mhm.
allows you to go to another place just for a little bit,
Mhm.
Yes.
you
Yes.
know. It
How
was
long
the
have you been meditating?
since cancer.
Really?
I began doing Reiki, going to Reiki sessions and stuff, and energy work, and doing a lot of different things. Because when you're at that place, you're
Mhm.
desperate.
Mhm.
Right. You're
Yeah.
looking for help anywhere, you
You are
know?
desperate, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, all those things combined offered a
Mhm.
little bit of relief, you know,
Yeah.
and I realized it's not about where you go. No plane is going
Okay.
to take you away from where
Right.
you're trying to escape from, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you got to learn how to deal with those things within yourself. You know,
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest challenges for me.
Mhm.
Yes, and as right now we have to go through station identification, which we're going to be taking a break right now. We thank everyone for joining in and listening to us, and please engage in our conversations. We would like to hear from you and what you have had, challenges that may be going through your life, and the journeys that you may be going through, and you feeling that it's a long path of what you're dealing with. But do understand, all it is temporary, and it will get better. Stay tuned and stay with us. We'll be right back.
We're shining bright, and we're shining the light on us like no other. Neighborhood Planet. Our neighborhood, our world.
They ready you back?
I can't hear anything.
Hey,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Mom, we can't hear you.
Huh.
No, we can't hear you. No. You can hear it. Oh, I don't know. Well, she can't hear us. So I guess we got to continue on at least until she can get it working. But I'm so glad you came. You came in, and
Oh,
you're like literally my first guest, or our first guest on the show,
oh
and
wow.
right outside the family, and so I'm excited about that. You know, just to see things full circle, you know, and see where you started and see where you're going and see where you at, so I just think it's a beautiful process, like you were talking about that journey. And I appreciate it. Makes you appreciate life so much more. And just even just sitting at home by myself with no TV, I could have no phone and
Right.
still be just laughing like it's all good,
Right.
And it can be World War III outside my window, but you would never know, because just that peace that you have in life, just from I guess connecting with yourself and nature and your higher power, and it's life changing, like you said.
It really is.
But how can we get to that place without experiencing that trauma? But I look at it like trauma lets me know that I'm still living. I don't know one person oh, there she goes.
Yeah, I'm back.
We were just talking about different traumas, and I don't know. And I was saying, that's a good question that she was asking. How can you get through life without or get that clarity, that life-changing clarity, without trauma in your life? Is trauma one of those things, necessary phases of life or steps that we have to go through, or is it something that we're doing on our end that we should have done better at in the past? I don't know.
You know what? And I really believe that trauma sometimes happens to us.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. There are things that happen outside of our control, and that's okay.
That's
right. And then there's things that, you cause.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, the trauma is there.
That's right.
So I think it, just like I said, from my experiences, I really think that the way to reach that clarity is to take whatever traumas that are around you, even if they're so small, and look at them and like, okay, well, what caused that? Dissect them, just like, I forget which one of you mentioned, like, oh, that was you, you and your husband, right? You married for so long. It takes work, right? The behind the scenes stuff, right? Those are the things that I like to talk about. I like to talk about things that people don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Right. So, but and it's ugly. It's painful. It's not meant to be pretty, and all of those things, right? But if we can dissect all of them and do that work within ourselves, you'll come out on the other end of it. So it's really just dissecting the trauma, no matter how big or small. You have to face it head on, because the more you run from it, it's going to catch up to you eventually.
Exactly. In life, we're going to have challenges in life. You can't think of a life of being that, that fairy tale that we all want it to be. There's always going to be some ball out of left field that's going to come in and hit your household. You don't know what it's going to be, but
as soon as everything is all
household, and it can be dramatic to you. It's like, oh my God, this happened to me, because, you're thinking that you're this perfect person that has done everything right. And and then you have that trust, like that God's not gonna let that happen to me. You have that in your heart, like, no, he's not gonna let that happen to me, and it happens.
Right.
And before it happened, you talked about it. One thing about relationships and what people go through is, and women, we tend to talk about, I don't know, girl, because if he cheated on me, no, I'm out.
Right.
First thing person to say, in relationships, the first thing, oh no, I heard he cheated on me, I'm out here right now.
Right.
And you know what, you're still there. And then you have the rumors that surfacing around you with the friends that really weren't the real friends. Oh girl, you need to get on up out of there, helping to push you out the door. When all along that we all go through something in life. We all make some bad decisions sometimes that we feel that we want to be in ourselves. Sometimes we get that selfishness, A lot of people tend to have that selfishness go on in their relationships, but you can't be selfish. You can always know when you commit to someone, you commit. You be that one. You be that one person. I'm going to tell you one thing, 20 years, never cheated on my husband. 23 years I've been with him, never had I ever had a feeling of it, because, you know, the direction in the mind and the control of the mind is everything. What's most beautiful to me is how you take on what you have committed to. The hardest challenge in your life is what you do good. It's easy to do wrong. It's easy to, you know, it's easy to do wrong. It's easy to tell a lie real quick. But think about the challenge of challenging yourself and believing in who you are as a person. Forget about what everyone else is doing. Do it your way. And people do look at you a certain way when you do certain things your way. But who cares? They're going to judge you whether you do it your way or their way. So I'd rather you judge me for knowing exactly who I am, truthfully. Okay. Right. So you know what? Life can have many traumatic situations that go on in it. It's all in how you take on it and how you embrace it and how you move forward with it. So you're going to continue to have another traumatic time in your life that you're not going to expect.
You learn.
Me too. I'm 55. You know, I know that something may happen. You know, whether it be a big flood in my house, whether it be the car and broke down. Oh, that's traumatic for me.
Right, we are spoiled beings.
I didn't want that. This car is not supposed to break down right now, right? And we feel that way, but it depends on how we're going to take on. Yeah, do I get upset? Do I get angry? Do I get a little messy in times? Yeah, I do. But I don't sit in it.
Right.
It goes away. Yeah, I'm okay now. Earlier, I was like, this darn phone won't act right. I'm so tired. I can't get it. I can't get online. And I was just fussy. And my husband was like, honey, please. And then when I got on, I said, oh, I'm just fine. No, it's working now.
Yeah. But it's so easy to get swept up in that feeling, you know, like, and you know, as far as what I was sharing with you guys earlier, you know, I think what's also not talked about enough is the aftermath of cancer.
Yeah.
What is your life like, or whatever traumatic experience you've gone through? What is life if you lost a loved one, right? Yes. What is life like without them now? You know, like, how do you go about life?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that fear or that anxiety that you have? Like, cancer reoccurrence is a real thing. I live with that fear every single day. I will forever.
Yes.
You know, but how do you combat that? You know, you have to kind of, like I said, always just reel it in and just remember, like, okay, right now, just like you were saying, you know, what do you have right in front of you right now?
Right.
Right. That's what helps you get through it. You know.
Right.
That's right.
Whatever.
Appreciating what's left.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. What's in front of you.
And try to build whatever. It's cancer is so symbolic to what we go through in life, period. If you think about it, cancer is a disease, right? So it's something negative. It's something that's hurting you, right? So whatever that might be in your life, whatever cancer is your cancer.
It can be a person,
right? Right. Whatever your cancer is, you have to learn how to get rid of it, first of all, right? And then how do you move forward with it?
Exactly.
And what do you do with all that trauma that you felt while you were going through it? Exactly. It's not an easy thing, you know, and that's one of the things I'm really passionate about, because I was so lost during cancer.
In society, they try to get you to not talk about what you went through a lot, you know, and just focus on coming out the other end, you know, don't really focus on the journey that led up to the moment. Don't worry about the last 5 years, just pay attention to today, you know, and that's I get the thought process behind that, but it's not realistic. You gotta, like you said, you gotta dissect it. You gotta unpack it, or else you just let it sit in and rot on the inside of you. Until what? You know, you're just unhappy and it's eating at you, you know? So to let things out and air it out it's such a good, it's a good feeling, and it's a good thing. Like we're like just with us being on the podcast today, it's a great and beautiful thing to let that out. And again, I thank you so much for coming on, you know, because hey, these are things that we want to talk about. So I appreciate you so much. And you family now. You family now. You stuck.
I am so grateful to be here with you guys. Really.
Yes.
Really.
Yes. And we talk about a lot of things, Charles and I. We actually we were talking about the therapy, the mental health therapies that a lot of people go through. And as I was saying to Charles, you know, but people tend to go to therapists, but you tell them the down and the dirty.
Right.
Okay. Right. People go to therapists to make them look good, like as though they're on a date.
Right.
So I got to impress this therapist. But you didn't tell the therapist, well, before I got here, I cussed my mom out and I slapped my boyfriend and I did, you know.
Yeah.
They didn't tell all that trashy stuff that came along. And as a matter of fact, I stopped at the mall and I stole a few things. You know, they don't tell a therapist those true things that need to be told. So it's like you share a certain part of yourself and not letting it all out. If you're going to walk in such a dark part of your life, you want to tell everything that's there. You want to tell a person about your identity and who you are and what is causing you or getting, you know, to help you get through why you're doing these things or help process, you know, a life for you so that you can live at least a decent, you know, have a decent walk of life.
Right.
So you got to share everything. I would always say to Charles, I'm your best therapist. You can't hide anything from me.
Right.
I know it all.
Right.
She want to be my therapist so bad.
Oh, man.
So, and I tell him, I said, did you tell the therapist? And I know he doesn't tell them everything. Like I said, people walk around and they want people to look at them a certain way. You don't have to tell me and sell me a story. Just be who you are. You know, some people want to make, I guess, others feel inferior at some point, I guess. And it's not about that. Life is what it is. You can only live as true as you know, as true as you are a person.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to be the person that you are, just be who you are. No lying, no cheating. Just be who you are as a person.
And you'll be surprised.
Believe me, you can get through many challenges in life just being that.
Right.
It takes a lot to be sitting there trying to create this person and then telling all these different tales and trying to impress people in certain ways. That takes a lot of energy. And then you forget some of it.
Yeah. You know, I think too, like a lot of people get so comfortable in their ways, even if they're unhealthy or whatever bad comes from it. It's really hard to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. That period, point blank, period.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to face that. And that, like, it's being honest with yourself, being real with yourself, being real.
Right.
If you can't do that with yourself first, then you're going to be lying to the therapist. You're
going to
be lying, you know, to the person at the gas station. Like, it's just going to happen. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Getting over that comfort is a big hurdle.
Mm-hmm. And as you speak of cancer, my dad died of cancer, lymph nodes, cancer of the lymph nodes, in 1997. His two sister twins, they died of breast cancer. I had a lot of cancer that surfaced in my family. So these are things that, you know, we try to be conscious of in everything that we do. You know, not to say that even though we've walked these paths of life that we try to go to the doctor every year, we try to, you know, have all the preventative measures in front of us, but yet cancer sometimes can just get there on your doorstep and be right there with you, even though you feel like you've done everything right.
Right.
So, and to say that, you know, and to say that just to get clarity, life is temporary for all of us. We can't stay here forever. Whatever time is, whatever point in our life where our number is the count, that's our time. God do take us through traumatic situations that we may go through. It may be, like you said, it's our cancer and what we go through when it's traumatic.
Right.
But yet when we get through it and we're able to smile again, try to smile as much as we can and continue to, and help others to smile as well. And share that with many people around you, because so many people feel as though that things are not going their way, whatever it may be. But it tends to hit you when you see people not doing well too.
Right.
Last week I had a young lady. I was in the front walking the dog, and a young lady looked like she was about 14 years old. She was a young black little girl, and she passed me and she said to me, I said, "Hi, how are you?" She said, "I'm not doing well." But she was walking so fast and she kept walking. But she said, "But I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay." And she had a sheet wrapped around her. She looked as though she may have been homeless. And I looked back at that young lady, and she was walking fast. And I said, I want to say something to her. I want to say something more, if maybe she needed something. But she said, "But I'm going to be okay." And in life, we don't know what we go through, you know, or what others go through. But I'm sure a lot of people go through many challenges in life. But we just have to keep, you know, our positive outlook on who we are and where we got to go.
That's right.
You know, and I will continue to pray for you and your family, because there isn't a journey for us all, and we still have to walk it. And we have to walk it by ourselves. Everything we do in life, we're by ourselves. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you again, Tony, for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome to come again next Wednesday.
Yeah.
We talk about.
I'm like, what are we going to talk about next?
That's right. We talk about happy things too. We like to talk about happy things.
Right. And I was thinking the same thing, like all in all, like on the brighter side, we to have these discussions with hopes to be happier and to live a happier life and a happier lifestyle. You know, that's the whole purpose of having discussions like this, is not to necessarily fester on what we went through, because I know that everybody has gone through something, but the whole purpose is to get to that place of happiness and joy, and where that can be the new norm. The new norm is happiness and joy instead of sorrow and stress, you know?
Right. And we got to help each other to get there.
That's right.
That's how it works.
That's right. We all in it together.
Right.
That's right.
That's right. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining in Smart Black Woman TV on NPN TV. We're here 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday. So please engage in our shows. Let us know how you feel, and let us know what you want to talk about. Again, thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Remember, drink your water and mind your business.
Programs like this are made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, iBoosters Digital Media Creative, and from contributions to NPN TV from viewers